By simply changing the call to action on some sites, you can raise conversion by over 200%. So that means if you're a 100k a year business, that's making it a 200k business almost overnight. That's huge. Welcome, this is episode 25. It's vastly improve your call to actions and your bottom line. Test. That's the first thing to say. You really need to test your assumptions. We can go over lots of theory, what to change, but you really need to test on an individual basis and on your own website. Do heavy research into your customers and your potential customers. That goes without saying really, but it's really important to interview them, test them as much as you can, user testing, loads of stuff like that to just find out about your customers and your potential customers. The only way to see if you're making improvements is to, the bottom line of your business is to test. Testing is the truth, as Dr. Colblanc says, or said on the podcast a few weeks ago. Highly recommend you checking that podcast out if you're interested in testing and anything to do with testing. The right business model, number one. In some businesses, it's a little more complex than changing the button text to get massive gains. For instance, having a free trial of your product over a strictly high-ticket offer may make your business's uptake in customers overnight massively increase. If we're talking about a freemium model, you're looking at anywhere between 1 and 10% of customers becoming paying customers. So it's really a numbers game to work out those figures. There are also a number of other business models and income streams to accommodate a freemium model, such as advertising and related products. So it's not just about having a button there, it's about what's happening in the background as well in your whole business model and how it relates to call to actions. Number two is quality. You need to follow through with your claims. If you're selling a high quality product that falls to pieces within weeks, then your business will fail long term. You need to have a quality service and product to back up your initial claims. It's vital to any business, and certainly when you're dealing with call to actions, you don't want to mislead your customers and your potential customers. Make it about me. Number three. What is the benefit of your service to me? How does it differentiate from other products, and what do people get out of your product and of no other? Also, when we're talking about the word me, they did a conversion test that simply changed the word start your free 30-day trial to start my free 30-day trial. The only difference there is the words you, your and my, and a 90% increase in using the word my, which is just huge for a single word. It just shows the power of words and conversion testing. Nullify the objection. This is a really important one and something to take on board. Why won't people click that call to action? What is their main objection? If we're talking about email address, let's say you want to gather email addresses and that's one of your main call to actions on your site, and one of the things in your business model of long term, you want to collect email addresses. The main objection to that is probably two things: getting multiple emails and getting that email address sold to another list. In other words, spam. Stating no spam and we value your privacy can help greatly. If we look at this example here from the hugely popular Neil Patel site QuickSprout, he's got a great conversion button there, call to action, yes, let's start the free course, rather than just simply saying sign up. But you'll notice below he's got one of these nullify the objection pieces. 100% privacy, I will never spam you. And the word I is great there because it just really means it's all about him and he will never spam you, and that just backs up the claim. So nullify the objection. Another example here is on the great site GetTower, which is a product for version control. And I guess they've done their user testing and their research, and one of the objections to free trial would be that the download the trial is going to be light on features. And as you can see there, they've got free for 30 days and all features is stated very clearly. So all the features are in the trial, and that's nullifying the objection of people downloading the free trial. Focus. This is also a really important one. Having more than one call to action is okay, but having 15, you probably want to revisit your business goals and your website model. If we look at this example here, this is a really cool service, you've probably heard of it, Dropbox, which allows your syncing of files on all devices on your computer. It's really easy to use. Great service, I've been using it myself for years. and there's loads of white space, and there's really only two call to actions there: sign up or sign in. And that's all there is on that above the fold design, is sign up or sign in. Really focused, only a few two different things you can do. One thing I would say there is that the word sign up could be improved, and they could really get a benefit on that button. I'm sure that would improve their conversion a little bit. But that's quite a good example of, certainly a good example of focus on your call to action buttons. Number 6, the fold. This is something that you really want to watch out for. In most cases, you want to place the call to action above the fold, but for more complex purchases, the opposite is actually true. In a fascinating split test, placing the call to action below the content and way below the fold on an average screen, of course, gathered a 304% better conversion rate. That's absolutely huge. 3 times more people signed up for the service than it was in the top right. This was because a more complex purchase with multiple considerations, the reader really needs to read through and really make a decision based on a lot of information before they make a purchase. Generally, however, though, you want to place the call to action above the fold and in a high position on the page. So let's have a look at that example there. On the left hand side we've got the call to action in the top right, and on the right hand side we've got the call to action in the bottom left, and it's a 304% more conversions having that call to action below the content, which is just fascinating to me. Generally you'd think that you're going to have the call to action above the fold, but not in this instance. And if you've got a complex product, it's a really good idea to test this and place your call to action below the fold and below the main content. So does size and does colour matter? Colour can make a difference, and I certainly wouldn't rule out the colour red, although it stands for stop. The main things to note, however, about size and colour are it stands out and you've got a really good use of contrast. It looks clickable and it's of reasonable size. Actually, too big can hurt. If you see the link in another conversion test, a call to action that was made a lot bigger actually hurt conversion rather than gaining it. So you've got to watch for that. Too big can hurt. And this is just one piece of the puzzle. Call to actions are not, they're very important to a site design, there's no doubt about that, but they're only one piece of the puzzle. Headlines, imagery, design, navigation, and numerous other design and web elements are vital to your and your client's business into a more successful operation. So the one thing to take away, Tota, do your research and test your assumptions. And we'll cheat and we'll make 2 for this week. The one thing to take away has become the 2 things to take away. Ask why people would not sign up and counter that argument and make sure that it's stated near the call to action. As we've seen in the examples, this is a really powerful way, and to counter objections of buying really can increase sales and increase conversion. Keep up with the shows. The best way is probably on Twitter. My personal account is Johnny Mac, and there's the web payload account. There's also the RSS feed, and there is also traditional email, which is a great way to keep up with the shows. Thanks.